Hi guys, welcome back to another video. My name is Olive, and in this video, in this tutorial, this is what we are going to be building, right? I know it looks beautiful and it's not so difficult, but it's also not so easy. So this is one project that will definitely push you to do great things, because a lot of things here you have to use a lot of measures and whatnot, but this project is definitely one you want to have in your portfolio. Okay, so these are the data sets: the inventory, CSV, product, sales, and store. This is the date table which I have created, and I have a video on how to create the perfect date table. Is in the description box below, and it's also going to be showing up here right now. All right, so this is the measures table which we're going to be putting in our measures, and just take a look at all the measures we used to create this. So now when I tell you what you're going to learn is a lot, believe me, because you're actually going to learn a lot. Okay, so now let's just go view our data. Our data is in Excel. We're just going to go take a look at it. It's always good practice to take a look at your data and view what you're going to be working with. Okay, study it. So this is our store data set. This is the store ID, surrogate key. This is the store name, the store city, the location, and the store open date. Okay, so this is the CSV data set as well. This is the product data set. These are the products they have. As you can see, they have 35 distinct products. The product cost, the product price, and we can also see the inventory and all of that. Anyways, we can also see this in Power BI, because when we come to the table data, this is the inventory data set. So this is what our inventory looks like. Same thing as product, which is the same thing, sales and store. Okay, all right. So now this is what we are going to be working with, and also I'm going to be showing you how to bring in all of these icons, in order to get your dashboard to this perfect place where you want it to be. So without further ado, let me just go open a new file and let us start this thing again. Okay, so please choose Excel workbook, because these particular ones are in Excel workbook. I've imported 3. So the last one is the product. Open. You won't have to go through this, because I would have worked on the Excel before dropping the data set for you people. So this is just CSV and okay. So you're going to preview it and then load it in. All right, the next thing I'm going to do now is to create my measures table. So for that, enter data right here, click on this, and I'm just going to name this my measures table. This is where all of the measures, the DAX measures we're going to be writing will be. All right, so let us just load that. Okay, so the next thing now is to create a date table, which I'm going to do quickly. And in case you don't know how to create a date table, go to the description box below. You're going to see a detailed video on how to create a date table, which I am going to do now. So for the purpose of not making this video so long, I'm just going to do that and come back. All right guys, so we've been able to create a date table, right? So what we have is just the year, the month, and the week, because that's what we'll be using for this analysis. But after creating a date table, as I said in my previous video, if you have watched it, please, if you have not watched the previous video, go back and watch it so you can create a date table and follow through with this tutorial, right? So when you're done with creating a date table, it's very important to go to your model view and model your data. Okay, so now if you take a look, this is every single thing we have here. You can see that Power BI has already modeled some of the things for us through the keys. Power BI looked at the keys that are primary and referenced it for us. And this is our measures table. Lastly, we have to bring in our date table and create a measure with our date table. So let me just adjust this. Okay, so let's take a look at all the relationships now, right? So this particular relationship is creating a relationship. These two tables have a relationship with the store ID, right? This is the parent and this is the child. Then the next one is the inventory and store ID. As you can see, this is what is creating the relationship. Then we have the relationship between the product ID and the fact table. This is the dimension product table, and this is the fact table. Both keys, both product ID and product ID are being used to create the relationship here. Now we have our date table. We also need to create a relationship so that this table is not just a standalone table. If it's a standalone table, it's not going to help us with our analysis, right? It's not going to help us with our analysis at all. So what we need to do is, we can see this is more like our fact table, and you can see the sales date here. So we're just going to create a relationship with this sales date and the date table here. So just click this and hold it till, just drag it to the date table, and Power BI is going to do its thing, and you can see a connection has been established. Okay, can you see date table and date? And now we can run our analysis. We don't need to create any relationship in the measures table. All right, this is the DAX measure that we're going to be writing there. So we're just going to go back to the report view, and now we are done with the first phase of this tutorial, which is basically to make sure everything gets in here and is properly modeled. Do not forget, this is what we are aiming at. This is what we want to get. So we're just going to, first of all, format our background to this way. All right, so let's do that together. So I'm just going to come to my format report page here, go to Canva setting. First of all, you can see our Canva setting is at 16.9, and this is what we're going to be using. If you want to customize it, if you want yours to be bigger, you can come here and you can customize it and increase or reduce the size however way you want it. But I'm leaving mine at this. Okay, so the next thing I'm just going to go to is to come to Canva background. This is white, but we don't want it white. We want to change it to gray. All right, and we're going to remove this transparency, and this is what we have. So the next thing we're going to do now is we're going to go to insert, we're coming to shape, and we're just going to get this rectangle shape. Let me check if it was rounded or not. Okay, it's not rounded. So we're just going to get this rectangle shape, and we're going to pull it down, right? Reduce it a bit, and then we're just going to format this shape. Come here to style and make this white, turn off the border color, and I think we're good to go. Okay, so next thing we're going to do now is we're going to come here, get another shape, get rounded rectangle. This is what the shape looks like. So I'm just going to adjust that, push it. Okay, so let's format this. We're just going to come to shape. I'm going to make this like 7 or 8. Let me see. Okay, 7 is not bad. Let me make that. Go to shape. Okay, I'm okay with 5 now. All right, so the next thing I want to do is want to come to style and make this white. Okay, turn off the border color, and we're going to give it a shadow. So this is the shadow. We're going to give it black, but I have already reduced the transparency. So once the shadow is in black right here, you can make the transparency at 70%. Okay. All right, guys. So you can format this however way you want to. All right. You can decide to use the black. You know, it was the black that was here with transparency at 70. Then I tried to use this dark gray and reduce the transparency. That's just to show you how flexible you can be with this. Okay. So the next thing we are going to do is to, adjust this and just. So we're going to hit Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V. So we want to get this again. So just adjust this, and this is how it's going to be. I think this should come down a bit more. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is another Ctrl+C and Ctrl+V. We're just going to push this down here. And another Ctrl+C and Ctrl+V, which we're going to be using up here. So the first thing has been done. We have created the body work for this. So look at it now. Do they look alike? Do they look the same? So I think we've gotten it to the point where we want to. Now the next thing we want to do is just to get the icons and everything. And I'm just going to show you how to get the icons so you can do this in any other project that you want. So for that, I'm just going to go to my Google Chrome and I'm going to come to Canva. So this is what we're going to be using, right? So if I download this, I've already downloaded it, so I'm not going to download it again. So you can just come here and search for logo templates, right? So if I come here, I would just search for e-commerce logo, and bam, this one comes out, and I'm like, okay, what name would I give it? And I decided to give it Alice Avenue. All right, so that is about that. Then I download it. The next thing is to come here, upload the image, and it removes the background. Once it removes the background, you can come back to your Power BI, right? Once you come back to your Power BI, you go to your image, and I need to look for this because it's been a while. All right, so I'm just going to load this in. This is it. I have an issue with my work being like this, so I always go back and go crop it out. So I'm just going to crop this so it looks big enough. So I'm going to remove this, and I'm just going to add this image. Now can you see why it's good to crop it? So now you can even move this, and I'm just going to place this right here. Okay, first thing has been done. We have brought in our what they call it. We have brought in our logo, our shop logo. So next thing is to come to the text box now and just write our topic. We're going to go to effect now and make this transparent. Voila, this is what we have. All right, so the next thing we want to do now is to create these KPIs. These particular KPIs are what we are going to create right now. The KPI that tells us the number of units you have sold, the total sales, and the total profit, okay? So for these KPIs, we are going to start making use of our measures table. All right, the first thing we want to see is the total units that we have sold, okay, because sales is really important. All right, so let's see the total units we have sold, because if you take a look at sales right here, you would see the units that are being sold. You will see the product ID and how many of those products were sold. All right, so we want to count in total how many of it was sold. So we're just going to go to the measures table and come here, and we're going to write a simple DAX measure, which is the sum of the unit sales. See, which is the sum of the units. So as you can see, we have units here. So we want to count all the units in this particular table. All right, so it is just sum of these units. It's just going to do a simple calculation for us. So this is what we have here. I'm going to delete this because there's nothing there. All right, so now we're going to make use of this new card visual. Normally, we would all use the normal scorecard, but now we're going to make use of this new card visual, because there are loads and loads of cool things to do with that, with the card visual, with the reference labels, the accents, and just a lot. So let's use this new card visual. So I will show you how it's being done. I'll show you all the cool things you can enjoy from it. Okay, so we're just going to come here and put our unit sold data, and we can see it is 1 million. Okay, so I can decide to increase the decimal place so I can see every single last one of it. So you can see that this is 1.1 million. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do now is just to quickly format this so it looks good. So for that, we're going to come to this place. We're going to get the shape. I always like rounded rectangles, so can do that. So let's leave it as 6. So let's reduce the colored value to say 25. Okay, and the next thing we're going to be looking at is the total sales. But there's something tricky about total sales. When you come to the sales table right here, you can't see any amount. you cannot see any amount. You can see sales and you can see product and their price, right? So what we have to do at this point is to multiply this product price and the number of sales that was done, the number of units that was sold. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. And how do you do that? We're just going to come back to our report view now, and we're going to write a DAX measure to that effect. So go to DAX measure and come to this place. So now what we're going to do is just to write total sales equals to, now we're going to use the sum x function, not the sum at this point. The sum just calculates a whole column, right? It calculates just the beginning to the end of the column. Now the sum x iterates through the rows. Okay, so that's the difference. So we're going to use a sum x function, and the sum x asks us for the table. What table are we using now? We want to check the table for the sales, right? So let's hit sales CSV. And what is the expression? We want to get the units, right? Sales units. So we want to multiply this sales units and the price and the product price. But we can't just multiply the sales unit and the price like that, because they are both not in the same table. They are in different tables. So in order to do this, we're going to use the function called related. This shows that this particular table is related to this other table. That is why you always have to model your data. That is the only way the Power BI will know that these tables are related, okay? Because from the relationship that you have modeled is the way Power BI will know that this table is related to this table. So we're just going to use the multiplication symbol here, and we're going to use the function related. So what table is it related to, and what are we looking for? It's related to the products table and the product price. So now you have told Power BI that I want to multiply this and this to get me an answer. Okay, so we're going to put in our comma, our close bracket. So just hit enter. And let me copy and paste this so you can see what we have. And you can see that we have 14.444, a lot. So in order to work on this, we're just going to hit total sales here. We're going to reduce this. We're going to reduce this to one decimal place. Okay, so we have 14.4 million. So you see why it's good to copy and paste. Everything has been formatted. You don't have to go and start formatting again or start making this a rounded rectangle. All right, so we're just going to copy and paste this for our third KPI, and that will be all before we go into the next thing. All right, so in our third KPI, we want to calculate the profit. Now we've seen how many units they've sold, we've seen the total sales. Now we want to see the total profit. In your dashboard should be like a story that the stakeholder is reading and going through. So now we want to get the total profit, but in order to do that, we have to get the total cost, because how we're going to get the profit is the sales minus the cost is the profit, right? So we're just going to use the same thing we used, which is the sum x, the units, and the product costs. And now we can get our total profit. Okay, so let's just type total profit. So we just have total sales minus total costs. This is supposed to be total sales. Okay, so let's hit enter. And now we have our total profit. So let's just bring this here and turn this up. So we can see our total profit is 4.01. You know what? Let's just make this decimal place 2. So this is our total profit, 4.0. Now we've been able to get the basic KPIs. We're now going to come and reference it. The next thing we want to get is the amounts that was sold in the previous month, the units that were sold the previous month, the sales for the previous month and the profit for the previous month. So what we want to get is our previous month values for each and every one of them. Okay, so in order to do that, we're just going to come here and create a new relationship, and I'm just going to paste in my DAX measure here. So this is date table. And it's basically saying we want to get the unit sold, but we want to get it for the previous month. So if you look at, we're using a date add function and we're putting the date table there. And this -1 is just 1 month back. That's what we're just saying. If you want to have 2 months back, we'll use -2. If you want 3 months back, use -3. But we're looking at the previous month. So we're just going to say, you know what, -1. And we're going to put what we're looking for, which is month. If we want to do previous year, when you put -1, you add what? Your year. If you want to do previous day, when you put -1, this would be what? The day. Okay, so we're done with this. We're just going to hit enter, and we already have our unit sold previous month. Okay, so the next thing I want to get is our unit variance. So for that, we're going to come to our measures table again and just write unit variance. And the variance is simply this, the new month minus the previous month. What was the difference, right? So we're just going to get unit sold minus unit sold previous month. So this month minus previous month is how we're going to get our unit variance. All right, so the next thing we're going to get is the unit variance percentage. Okay, the variance percentage. So let's just do this. So let's just put our percentage sign here. So we're going to know this is for the percentage, unit variance. So what is the percentage now? We're going to use the divide function. All right, so we're going to divide. What is our numerator? We'll be dividing the unit variance. And what is the denominator? We're going to be dividing the unit sold. So that's like the difference divided by the unit sold times 100/1. That's just how it is. So the unit sold and alternative result is 0. So we're just going to close the bracket and hit enter. So let me give you an example of this. This is probably your variance is 20 and the total unit you sold is 120. So this is 20 divided by 120 times 100/1. This is just basically what it is. Okay, so now we've got our unit variance. The last thing to get, because for each and every one of these, we have 5 DAX measures to write. Okay, to see, in order for you to get that beauty that you saw in the beginning. Okay, so the last measure we're going to write is what we call the arrow. In order to get the arrow. Okay, so we're just going to come here and create a new measure. Okay, so I'm just going to paste in this. This is not hard, so don't be alarmed. So we are getting the unit percentage arrow, which is the arrow for this variance, to know if it is high or low. All right, so we are creating a variable called up arrow, and this variable, we're using the Unica 9650. This shows the arrow that is upward. The down arrow, Unica 9660, it shows the downward arrow. Okay, so we're also creating another variable called the var percentage, and this var percentage is the unit variance which we have created here. Okay, we are creating var number, which is the unit variance. The var percentage is the unit percentage variance, while the var number is the unit variance that we have created. So this round and 2 is just rounding it up to 2%. Okay, so if our variable number, that is if the unit variance that we have created here is greater than or equals to 0, we are going to get the up arrow. If it's less than 0, we're going to get the down arrow. So this is basically what this is saying. Can you see? If it's greater than this, display the upward arrow. If the var percentage, which is this one that we have created here, if it is greater than or equals to 0, display the upward arrow, right? But if it is less than 0, display the downward arrow, which means definitely, the profit margin or the sales is low or something, display the down arrow. Okay, so this is what the formula is. So we're just going to hit enter. So this is the full list of the Unicode codes. All right, so you can see their codes and you can see the symbol. Okay, you can see this is for exclamation mark, you can see the symbol and all of that. So I'm sure if you take a look at up arrow, if you look for up or down arrow, you're going to see that with the symbol that we use. Okay, so this is just like the whole list of Unicode. You can just keep scrolling and scrolling. So I just decided to show you guys that. So we're going to go back to our Power BI right now. And now this has entered. Okay, so these three things that we created, these 5 or rather 4 that we created, we're also going to do that for the total profit and the total cost. Okay, so once we do that, we're good to go. Now we're going to hit on units sold. And we're going to come here. So let's go to reference label. Now we want to reference the previous month and the variance. Okay, so let's just make this like this. All right, so we can see it better now. So for starters, I want to format this. I want to reduce the size to like 10. Okay, I'm also going to reduce the value to 10. So we're going into this detail and we are adding our unit value. All right, so this unit value is what would show up, what will show up here. So let's just reduce that to the same 10%. Okay, now that we've tapped the arrow, the next thing we want to do is to create the background color. Okay, we're going to use a conditional formatting for that. So we want, if this thing is less than 0, it should be red. If it's greater than 0, green. And if it's just 0 itself, it should take like a gray color. Okay, so in order to do that, we're going to first of all format the font. So we're going to come here and we're going to format it based on rules, and we're going to format it based on which field. So let's go and get the unit variant field. So this is what we're formatting it based on. If our value is greater than or equals to minimum and greater than or equals to the minimum and it is less than 0, then we want to have the font red. That is the color red. So I'm just going to put my hex code here, which is 9A2816. All right, so this is the red I want for the font. And I'm going to put a new rule. If it is greater than, if the unit variance is greater than 0 and less than the maximum, then I want it as a green. So let me use this green. This is the font I want. And lastly, the new rule, if it is equals to 0 alone, I want it as this. I'm just going to hit OK. I think I will make that darker. Let me make this darker. Let me make it white. I'll make this white. So let's make that okay. All right, so the next thing we want to do now is we want to work on the background color. So let's format the background color as well, right? So we're going to go based on rules, just like we did, and the field will be based on the unit variance. So if this is greater than or equal to the minimum and 0, then we're going to be having the red font. So let me get the red background color rather. So this is the background that I want. So we're going to create another rule just like we did. If this is 0 and it is less than the maximum, we're going to have the green. So let's do the green. And lastly, if this is equals to 0, we're just going to have what? We're going to have a gray color there. And let's hit OK. So this is what we have. If you want, you can make this gray thicker. Okay. So this is what our variance is. So if our variance is less, you're going to be seeing it's going to be changing to red, and if it's more, it's going to change to what? To green. Okay, so we are almost done with this. As you can see, we have our variance here, but we don't have anything here because we actually did remove that. Okay, if we see here, you can see our custom, we removed it. I'm going to remove this. If we remove it, you can see this was what it was, but we don't want this. As a matter of fact, we don't want it showing units sold previous month. We actually want the previous month showing, which is why we created this previous month's name. All right, and we created it for units. So we're just going to go put that. So this is the previous month's name. This is the label. All right, so we're going to select the auto. We're going to conditionally get the name. So we're going to come here. And what field should this be based on? It should be based on this field that we just created, which is units, previous month unit name. So let's hit OK. And you can see this. So now if we do this, for example, let us get this. Oh no. So now if we just get a bar chart and let us get month and total sales, month name and total sales. Okay, so now let's see February. As you can see, this is January. January comes, and let us see March. You can see it's showing February. So that is the sole purpose of this unit name that we changed. Okay, if at all, if we don't want it to be unit name, you don't have, if you don't want it to be switching to February and all of that, you don't have to go through that stress. You can just name it previous month. Okay, but I think this is the beauty of it. When you're in April, you can see that this is March, and you can see the variance, right? And you can see that March was 109, and you can see this 109. Okay, so when you come to April, you can see that April is also 109. So this is just the beauty of it. All right, but we are not done. Let us go do the last thing we want to do with this, and we are then going to replicate it for this remaining two. So the last thing we want to do with this is to go to the cards. In this card, we have this beautiful accent bar. So we're just going to turn that on, and we're going to put this up to the top and increase the width to like 5. Okay, so now we're going to change this color, right? So the rule for this color is the same rule that we have, which has been applied. So we're just going to apply this rule to the unit variance rule, and this is the same thing that we did the other time. So if this is minimum and this is 0, we want it to be that red. So let's just put in the font. Let me just do that. So guys, this is it. This is just like what we did. We're using the background color for this accent bar. So when it's 0, you can decide to use this gray or this gray. I'm using this. So let's see what it looks like. So can you see it's positive and it's showing positive. When it's negative, it's showing negative. All right. And once it is at a state of rest, it is showing this. So this is what we have. I think I also want to make this to be a bit darker. So I'm just going to come to, this is the color. I'm going to make this darker. Yeah, I think I like this. Okay, so that is it. So now we're going to replicate this. Let's first just get the copy and paste this. Okay. So I'm not going to be doing much talking now. So please just follow suit. I'm going to be doing the exact thing we did. So rather than units, I'm just going to put sales. And change this to total sales. And there we have it. So we've gotten our sales, and let us get our total profit as well. So we've gotten the previous month for both. The next thing we want to get is the unit variance. Okay, and the unit variance is basically just this. So we're going to copy that. So let's get our sales variance, total sales, so we're doing this for the next one, which is profits. Want to get the variance for profits. We're getting total profit minus profit previous month. So the next thing we want to get is the percentage of the variance. All right. We're just copying and pasting everything we did with the unit, and we're going to change what needs to be changed there. So we're going to make this sales, and we're dividing the sales variance from total sales. Hit enter. We're going to do the same thing for the profit. We'll name this profit variance, profit percentage variance. And we're dividing the profit from total profit, or by total profit rather, and hit enter. Okay, so we have like 2 more to go for each of them. The next thing we want to do is to get the unit percentage arrow for each of them. Okay, so we're going to get this, copy this, go to your measures table and get a new measure. I'm just going to paste this. So this will be sales arrow, and we're creating a var for this and also var for this. So now var percentage, we're going to name this sales percentage variance, and the number is sales, the var number is sales variance, and this will be total sales. So now we're just going to hit enter because every other thing stays the same. Okay, so we're going to do this same thing now for profits. Profit percentage, so this will be profits, profit variance, and this will be total profits. All right, so everything stays the same, so we hit enter. Oh, I'm supposed to rename this to profits. Okay, so the next thing to do now is to get the name for all the months. All right, so let's copy this. Hit our measure and create a new measure. Okay, before I continue, you can decide to create different measures so that you can keep your measures in check, because we have like 5 measures under sales, 5 measures under profit, 5 measures under unit. So if you take a look, the way I am naming my own is how I'm keeping it in check. Can you see I have all my units in one place, I have all my sales in one place, I have all my profits in one place. So my naming methodology is how I used to keep mine in check. So if you don't want to name yours like this, you can easily definitely have different measures just to keep all of those things and don't confuse yourself. Okay, so now we have a new measure, we've created that, we've pasted this. All we need to do is come here and change this to sales, total sales, and we're going to rename this PM for sales and not units now. And we're going to hit enter. So we're going to go to our measures again and create another one for our profits. Just hit paste. We're going to come here and get our total profits, and voila, that's all we need to do. We're also going to change this to profits. Please don't forget that, else it throws you an error. And enter. And that is it, guys. So we have all it takes to make this really look really good. So now let's start putting it in. So we're in our sales part now. So let's go to format your visual, go to reference label. Now the data we're going to add is the previous month for sales. So let's get the sales previous month, and we're going to get the sales variance. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is just reduce that. I'm going to also reduce the value. Make sure I reduce this decimal place to 2. Okay, so that is fine now. And the next thing I want to do is to go back to our, where is that? Okay, so we're just going to come back here now, and we're going to remove this. We're going to customize this name and just put what? Variance. This is an A. Okay, so variance with semicolon. So we're going to come to the detail right here. We're going to turn that on, and we're going to add what? Add our sales with arrow. So I'm also going to reduce that. And the next thing we're going to do is to format this just the way we did it the last time, and the color coding we used. Okay, so I'm just going to do that. Okay, guys, so we're done with this. The next thing, which is also the last thing we want to do, is the name, right? The previous month name. So we're just going to come here. So we're going to come to select label, and we're going to go to previous month, and we are going to customize this. And in the customization, we're going to go to what? Make this we're going to conditionally format this, right? Because we don't want it as says sold previous month. So we're just going to come here and do the same thing we did, and this field will be based on our PM, previous name for sales, which we created. Okay, so now when we hit on January, we can see June. All right, we can see this. We can see this. Let's go reduce this for the variance. Let's go reduce the decimal place for the variance of sales. Okay, the last but not the least, we're also going to do the same thing here. Okay, so we're just going to come and do all of the same thing. We're going to add the data for the previous month of profit, and the variance of the profits. All right, so now in this profit variance, let us customize the visual name. Let us customize the name. We don't want it as profit variance, we want it as just profits. And please change this E to A. And I'm going to just add a semicolon. Reduce this to 10 and the value to 10. All right. We're going to select this and reduce this to 10, reduce the value to 10. And since we're here already, let us get this field name to be custom and make this to be based on the previous name for profits, and hit OK. So next thing we want to do is we want to go reduce the, where is profit previous name? Let's go reduce the decimal place. Okay, it is well reduced now. So the next thing we want to do is to place all this conditional formatting as well, just like we did in the other ones. We're coming back to our reference label. So the label we're going to select now is the variance. So we can go do our thing there. So turn on the detail. And now the detail we're going to add is the profit for the arrow, profit percentage arrow that we created. And now you can see this is out here. So we're going to reduce this to 10, and then we're going to go ahead to do what? To conditionally format this, just like we did. And we're going to make this profit percentage variance. The next thing we're going to do is to go to the accent card. Is to go to the card and go to the accent bar, turn this on. We're going to go to the top, take it to the top, increase the width to 5, and we're going to conditionally format again. This is probably like what we're doing in this whole thing. This is taking like 50% of our time. And this is taking the profit variance. All right, so now let's look at this. Okay. Let us reduce this to 1%. So that is the variance. Let's go to profit variance. Profit variance, and just make this decimal place to 1. And we're good like this, okay? So the next thing we're going to do is to place this right here, okay? We're going to make this transparent. Then we're going to turn off the title. We're going to go to X-axis and turn off the title as well as the values. We don't need that. This is just like a show. We're going to turn off these grid lines. Do we have any grid line here? Okay. So the next thing we want to do is we want to give it the color we want. Can you see? You're going to fix that right in. So that's why we made it transparent. So it's going to just ease itself in there. Okay. So now another thing I want us to do is to get the year, because if we notice, we're dealing with both 2017 and 2018. So just drag this year and try and put it up. Oh, it didn't work up. So let's try and move it. Still not working. Okay, let me remove this and just put it down now. Okay, so it works now. I have to reduce this a bit. Okay. So let's quickly format this. We're using yellow because yellow is our brand color. So let's go to our column, come here and go to more columns. So I have my hex code and this is it. All right. So the next thing we want to do now is just to place the cards, the icons. Okay, so for that we can just use Google. Go to Google and let us just say unit icon. You can see I've forgotten the one I took. So when you go to unit icon, you save this, whatever unit icon you want, you save it, and then you go through the process, the remove background, and you go remove it and put it in. Okay. So guys, now that I have this, I'm just going to come to insert, come to my image, and then get this. This is for sold. So just make that tiny. Make it really tiny. Just keep it here. All right, so let's do the next one. Go back to the image, come for the profit. So this is also what you're going to be typing in your Google. Just type profit icon, sold icon. This one I use shopping cart icon and not unit sold. I use shopping cart icon. So just make this smaller and just come put this here. And lastly, I'm going to go back to my image and come get the icon. I come get the shopping cart. Make this smaller. And there you go. We have our first page right here already. Okay. Okay, so this is what our first visual looks like. All right. And when we hit March, you can see when we look at April, we can see what it is, right? You can see when we made sales and whatnot. You can see the total sales in this time was, the total sales here reduced, but the units that were sold increased and the profit increased, but the total sale that month reduced. So all of these are really important and useful. Okay. All right, guys. So the next thing we want to do is we want to get the table here that shows every single thing about our sales. Congratulations, you were able to get to this point, because I think this is like the major part of the work. That was where the bulk of the work was. So if you've been able to get this, huge congratulations to you. So the next thing we want to do now is we want to look at the sales and the products, right? We want to know the top 5 selling products, because if you take a look at our product data, you're going to see that we have like 35 products. And definitely we cannot like view all of these things immediately. Like viewing everything is going to take a lot of space, right? So we're just going to view the top 5 products, the top 5 products as regards sales, okay? But it's going to be very flexible that even if the stakeholders are using the BI service, they can be able to switch from top 5 products for units sold, the sales, and the profit. So let us go see how we're going to do that. For that, we're just going to get the table. Okay, let's just bring in the table here and adjust that. So the next thing we want to get is our product name. Now we have our product name. We're going to get the units sold. Underneath that, we're going to get the total sales, and we're going to get what? The total profit. So this is everything we want to visualize, right? So we're coming here. Now let's format this whole table. So there are certain things we don't want, like we don't want the totals to show, so we're just going to turn that off. So for the borderline, we're going to make that what? Gray. All right. We're going to make that gray. We're just going to make that 2. Okay. So we're going to increase these values. Let's leave it at 14. Okay, this is huge enough. So now I want the background color to be gray. Both background colors to be what? Gray. So let's make it a lighter gray. Okay, this light gray is not bad at all. So we're going to go to the column headers, and we're just going to increase this. Okay. Should we make it bold? I don't think so. So let's just leave it at this. All right. So let's go to our general. Let's make this transparent. It's not like it matters, but let's turn on the title. So now our title is going to be the top 5 selling products. So I'm going to show you how we're going to get the top 5 selling products. So we're just going to align this in the middle here. Let's increase this to 16. Now the next thing we want to do, let's make this to be few. So in order to get the top 5, what we need to do is to use our filter here. Okay, so you can see top 5. Now let's go to this place. You can see the filter type is basic filtering, but we don't want to use basic filtering. If you click under this arrow, you're going to see top N. This is top number, right? So you can either have the top 5, the bottom 5, the top 10, the top however number you want. Okay, so I'm just going to choose top 5, and we are being asked to add a value here. So what are we choosing the top 5 for? Are we choosing the top 5 for the units sold, the sales, or the profit? Right? I am choosing the top 5 for profit. Then I'm going to do what? Apply this filter. And you can see this is my top 5. Okay? This is my top 5 products. So now the next thing we can do is just put, when you look at this top 5, you can see they are the top 5 quite all right, but it's so disarranged. Look at 2 million here, you look at 1 million here. We want to see it from the top. We want, if it's 2 million, then it should start from 2 million to 1 million to 9 to 5 to 4, and not to be, disorganized like this. So we're just going to come to these small options here. We're going to go to sort by, and we're going to sort by what? The total sales. Now you can see that the total sales has aligned. Can you see it has aligned by the top? by the biggest to the smallest, right? So if we want to see by total profit as well, you can just click on total profit and you can see total profit as aligned. It's going to be like 3, 4 to this, to this, to this, and this is the least profit in the top 5. If you want to see it by the total units, you come here and you can see this has changed. It's going to align by the biggest to the smallest, but we want to see it by sales. And these are the products that sold the most. I want to do something here. So let's go to column headers. Background color, I want it to be same hash, same gray. Our next chart, we're just going to get a bar chart in here. So let's just fix that in as well as we can. All right. So for our bar chart, we want to see the stores and the inventory. So if we look at our data set, we can see that there are so many stores here, right? And we can see the inventory. So we want to know how many stock is remaining in each store. How many stock is remaining in each store, so that when we want to order products, we are going to know, okay, what are we ordering here? What are the products that are even here? So for that, we're just going to get this, and we're going to get let's go to store. We're going to get the store location. Is it location or city? Let me take a look. Store location here. All right, so when we get the store location, we're just going to go with the inventory. If we get total inventory, we want to see the store that has the most stock at hand. So for that, we're just going to go and create total stock, which is nothing but sum of the stock at hand. So total stock sum inventory stock at hand, right? So now we still have our store location, and we're going to get that against the total stock. And we can see downtown has quite a number of stock: commercial, residential, and then airport. Okay, so let's just format this. First of all, we're turning off the title. Turning off the title for the x-axis and also the value. We're turning on the data label. And for this data label, we're going to go down. We want the values to be none so that we can see the full value. So let us go and activate this comma here, so our comma can show. All right, what else is remaining? Okay, we need to format. Let me go get the color of this. So okay, so do is to change the title, make this stock by store location. I'm going to align this in the middle, and that is that. Okay, so we know the location that has the most stock. Okay, we know the location that definitely has the most stock. So the next thing we're going to do now is we're going to get a slicer, a product name there. So we're just going to quickly format this. Slicer setting, we want a drop down. So now from this visual, at least from this first one, you can tell which ones did better, right? Then from this, you can tell which product did better. So if we want to stock products next time, we know which product to stock the most. And now we can see the products, the stores that have more stock with them. So we're going to get this stock name, the product name, as well as, let me just copy and paste this, and the store name. Let's get the store name because we're going to do other analysis with that store. Okay, so if we choose each store, we can see what they sold. Okay, so I would have kept the search bar that we kept in the first part when we're starting this out, but I think this makes a lot of sense. This makes more sense. So let me just format this. Make this transparent as well. So when we take a look at the store, we can decide to like, okay, let's see what's up with this store. We can see the profits this store has made. You know, we can see the products this store sold the most, right? You can see every single thing about the store. You can see the sales of this store. They've sold 42,000. Look at their total sales, and this is the total profit that this store has generated. So we're going to hit on probably this other one, and we can see everything. This store is in downtown, and this is the amount of stock they have at hand. This is the profit. These are their top sale products, top sold products, and the total. Like, it's just a lot of insights and information from this, right? So you can see that, oh, this particular store was not doing so much in 2017, but look at how they improved in 2018. Okay, guys, so now we're going ahead to do the top performing stores, and we're going to show that by a progress indicator. And when Alice Avenue gave these stores a target, if you're able to sell up to $440,000, right? So we're going to know the stores that outperformed and were close to performing so well in these targets that they were asked, that they were given. So for that, we're going to come to create a DAX measure just to show what that target is. So we're going to come here and just say target sales. Is equals to what? $440,000. Okay. So now we have created the target. So I'm just going to hit this. So this is our percentage target variance. So we are dividing in this division. This is our variance, first of all, which is total sales minus target sales is our variance, right? So we are dividing the difference from these two from the target sales. Okay. So now we have our target variance sales. We have our percentage target variance. So we're going to get, the next measure we're going to get is our achieved measure. We want to see. So this is it. So we're going to use this formula to get our achieved. And we're also going to get our remainder DAX measure. So let's just hit enter so we can get our remaining DAX measure and start getting the progress charts. So let us get our remaining, this is the remaining value. So that was the achieved value, was the minimum of the percentage target variance, and this is the maximum. And we're just going to hit enter. So the next thing we want to do is we want to create a text. So let's just put this, and this text is going to say if the target variance, that's the percentage target variance, is greater than or equals to 0, I want it to write above target. But if it is not greater than or equals to 0, it should write to target. So for example, if we have something at -12, it's going to say, oh, -12 to target, which is 100%. But if we have it at 120%, it is going to write above 20% above target, since we already have the 100% there. Okay, so this is just what this is saying. So let's hit enter. So I'm just going to get a donut chart here, and I'm just going to make that really tiny so it can fit in 4 of the most performing stores. Then I am going to get my achieved and my remaining values. Where is the remaining? All right, so this is the achieved and this is what is remaining. And I am just going to format this, turn off everything, turn off data label. I am going to, okay, let me make this transparent, turn off the title. And then I'm going to go to the visual, go to the slices, the spacing. They're really small. 80% is fine. Okay, so let me copy and paste this into 4 places. And I'm just going to put that here, bar charts, and let us look at these stores by their total sales. So we're going to show our stakeholders who did the most. Okay, so we can see the stores by their total sales. So we're going to this bar is going to be for the first 4 stores. Okay, that's what this progress indicator is going to show for the first 4 stores. Okay, so for the first store, let us see Maven Toy de Mexico 2. So for that, we're just going to come to our filters. We're going to drag the product name to this filter, right? So let's search for CUDAD, CIU. Oh no, this is not product name, rather, guys. We're just going to drag store name and search for CIUDAD. And we're looking for Mexico 2. All right, so we're just going to hit this, and this is Mexico 2. Okay, so we're also going to do for this. Here we'll be looking for the second one, Guadalajara. Okay, so this is 3. So we're just going to hit enter. Guadalajara 3. Okay, for this third one, let us drag our store name. And we want it to require a single selection. So we're just going to get Mexico 1, which is the top. All right, so can you see this has not really progressed so far? It has not fully reached the 100%. So the next one, let's drag our store name again. Let's hit require single selection, and let us get the fourth one, Toluca. So this is Toluca 1, and it has not also reached. So there was a mistake here. I wanted this to be just one selection. So this is Guadalajara 3, okay. So this one is what? Okay, so now that we've done this, let us quickly format this. We'll go to our format pane, go to the slicer. We're just going to make this white. So it just looks like, okay, oh, there's still a bit of progress to be made, okay? So this is what this is going to look like for now. So let's remove this. So guys, we're going to get our absolute value now. And this absolute value is just to, remove a negative sign if there is one in front of your value. So if you have something like minus 20%, once we put that absolute function, which is ABS, it comes out as just 20%. So that's just what we want to do. So new measure, which is this, just ABS, and we're using this for our percentage target variance, which is this. All right, so hit enter. And this is supposed to be in a percentage format, so we are also going to format that to percentage. So the next thing to do now is we're going to get a scorecard and just get our absolute remaining, and this is it. We're going to turn off. We're going to format this by turning off the category label and reducing the colored value to say 15. All right, then we're also going to make this transparent. So go to your general, go make that transparent. Okay, so this is just going to be here. The next thing we want to do as well is to get another scorecard, and we should be able to see our text, target text. So we want to know if it is above target or if it is what, below target. So let's just format this, turn this category label off, and make this what, 15%. I think this 15 is too much, but we would see. So let's make this transparent as well. So we'll leave this here. I think we need to reduce this 15 because they're going to be inside here. Okay, so we're just going to move this from the progress indicator. It shows that this store, which is the Marvin Toy Mexico 2, actually surpassed their target, right? So let's see how much they surpassed it by. We are in this, so the data we want to filter by is by store name. So let's just drag store name here, and we are going to filter by the same store name, which is Mexico 2. Want to be sure. So you can see this has they met their target by over 26.03. all right, but I'm going to make this just one decimal place, rather 0 decimal place. Okay, so now that we've done this, let us go. So let's do the same thing for our target value. We're going to also get the store name. We're going to require a single selection, and we're doing that for the same Mexico 2. So they were actually above target. Okay, so let's copy and paste this. And let's move this here. Now, this particular store is which one? Maven's Toy Guadalajara 3. Okay, so let us see Guadalajara 3. Let's look for that Guadalajara. So this is Guadalajara 3. Okay, they surpassed theirs by 2%. And let us see what's up with their text. This will be above average as well. Guadalajara 3. All right, this is above average as well. So let us copy and paste this too. So we are going to arrange this thing when we're done. So let's hit this one. Let us see. What's the name of this store? This store is what? Mexico 1. Okay. So let's look for Mexico 1. Mexico 1. This has to be it. All right. So this is 1%, but I guess it is 1% below below target, which is to target. But in order to be sure, let us just come here and see. Okay, so for the target, let us see. Okay, as you can see, it is 1% to target. Okay, we are still going to arrange all of these. Just hold on. We have this last one to do, and this is Toluca 1. All right. So let's come here and search for Toluca. And this is Toluca 1. All right, Toluca 1 has 7% to target, but let's be sure. Let's search by Toluca as well. Okay, 7% to target. All right, so now we can see every single thing. So let us just arrange this. I'm just quickly going to arrange this, put the number up and the text below. Okay guys, so I've been able to fix this. You can see the percentage up now and the target text beneath it. Okay, so what we're going to do next is we're just going to format the colors of this particular graph. So I'm just going to hit this. I'm going to go to slicer, go to more colors, and I'm going to make this pink. So I'm going to paste my code here. I think I want it like a little bit tinier, more lighter. Okay, I think I still want this spacing to be increased. Yeah, I think 85 looks good, so I'll just leave everything at 85. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is to change the color of this one, and for this we're going to be using orange. So this same orange we used here is what we're going to be using. Okay, so I'm just going to get the hex for that. Just copy the hex code. That's Ctrl+C. Come back here, and this is it. All right, so for these I'm going to use our normal yellow. Voila. And for this I'm going to use what? The purple. And this is it. So let me just change this to white. Not like it's going to show or anything, but okay. So guys, this is it. The next thing we're going to do is just to write out the names of the stores. Okay, so I'm just going to show you how to do one. I'm going to format it because I like this font. I'm going to use 12. So what is the name of this? So this is the name. I think I should increase this a bit to say 14. Okay, So the next thing I want to do is just align this in the middle and make this transparent, push this in a bit and then move it. So yeah, this is our name. So I'm just going to write the names for the remaining 3. Okay guys, so these are the top performing stores, and I've kept in the title. The next thing I want to do is to edit interactions. So we're just going to come to format and edit interactions. So guys, we need to block the interactions for all of these because this does not need to change, right? This is just staple. This is what has been done already. So it does not need to change. That is why we would block all of the interactions from it. So now to do that, just keep hitting this block for the 2 of them. Okay, keep hitting the block, and that is how we are going to do it for everything. All right, so that's about that, guys. So we're going to come here and turn off edit interactions, and this is what we have. Okay, so this is our initial one, and this is ours. So the next thing that is remaining is to put this. Okay, so we're going to put this by having by duplicating our pages, and we're going to be naming it product, sales, inventory, and stores, because actually we have things that are here. So now this is the product analysis. Okay, and you can see it has gone over to product. This is the sales analysis, and you can see it's in sales. This is the inventory analysis. We can see it's in inventory, and this is the store analysis, and we can see this is in store. Okay, so these are full analysis that these are the full analysis of each segment. So when you see the overview and you want to go into products, you know what, you click products and you see everything by product. But for this video, because it is so long already, we're going to leave it at the dashboard. If you want to see other pages, if you want us to build other pages together, which is the product, sales, inventory, and stores, to let me know. I can also do a playlist for that. All right, so but now let us just go duplicate this so that we can get everything, and I'll show you how to do the page navigation for everything. Okay, our dashboard. And the next thing we want to do now is to name this. So let's just name this dashboard. So we're going to duplicate as well. So we're just going to duplicate this. We're going to name it products. Duplicate as well. And we'll name this sales. We're also going to duplicate another one. We're doing analysis in all of these, but in subsequent videos. So now I'm just going to go back to my dashboard. And now that I have duplicated all these, the next thing I'm going to do is to go to my insert, come to my buttons, and go to my navigator. I'm going to see my page navigator. So I'm just going to hit that, and this is going to come out, but I don't want it like this. So I'm going to go change the grid layout to vertical. So we're just going to make it like this. So this is what it's going to look like. So definitely we're going to still work on this a bit. All right, the fill, I'm going to remove the borderline. Okay, I'm going to come to the text. We're going to increase this a bit. Say 13. 13 is not bad. We want to apply settings to this. So we want, when selected, we want it to be this color. All right, so also we want, when you press it, we want it to be this color. We also want, when you hover around it, to be yellow color. Okay, so now we want the fill color to be transparent. So we don't want anything showing here. Fully transparent. All right. So now, once we go to our this, so when we hover, we want it bold. When we press, we want it bold. Also, when we select it, we want it bold. Okay, so now take a look. Can you see when you hover, it's bold, it's bold, it's bold, and it is bold. Okay, so now we've been able to format this the way we want to. All right, so the next thing we're going to do now is to put the icons there. So for that, just go to your Google Images and type dashboard icon, product icon, sales icon, inventory icon, and store icon. Then go to the remove background app and just remove the background and fetch them in here. So I'm just going to go to my images, and this is my dashboard. So this is the dashboard. I'm going to make it like really small. And then I'm going to put it here. This is the store icon. So make it tiny. So guys, we've been able to build this dashboard, right? I know it took a while, but if you build something like this twice, definitely you will know a lot of things about Power BI. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you're going to be adding this to your portfolio, because this is a really beautiful dashboard. It even looks like a very nice Figma drawing. So yeah, this is about that. So thank you all for sticking with me while we worked on this dashboard together, and I am definitely going to see you in my next video. I hope you loved this dashboard and the tutorials. So I'm going to see you in my next video. If you want to see other pages, please write that in the comment section, and I'm definitely going to create a playlist to that effect. Subscribe to my channel, guys. Please like it so YouTube algorithm can show it to more people. Share this video to whoever you know would need to make a portfolio. This would make a very beautiful portfolio. This will be beautiful in anyone's portfolio. So please share the video, subscribe, like, turn on your post notification, because I'm going to be posting more beautiful videos and dashboards like this. All right, till the next one, guys. See you all. Bye.